Hello everyone and thanks for joining us on Football Planet. Coming up on the show, AFCON 2019 qualifiers. We shall be revisiting the high moments as Mauritania qualifies for the very first time in its history to a major finals. The Congo Derby is also on our menu today. Women's Africa Cup of Nations, Ghana 2018, Nigeria lost its opening game. We shall be speaking with a football commentator who watched that encounter against South Africa live from Accra, Ghana. FIFA Under-17 Female World Cup sees Ghana scoring 8 goals in 2 games played. Interestingly, all African representatives have picked up points this far. Stay with us, we shall be back. It's Football Planet on Africa News. First up, Mauritania came from a goal down to beat Botswana by 2-1 to reach the finals of the Africa Cup of Nations for the very first time in the country's history. A huge achievement, as explained by our correspondent, Moulaye Najim.
The bravery of the Mauritanian national team was celebrated in a joyous atmosphere. There was so much joy in the streets and avenues of different cities of the country, and particularly Nouakchott and Nouadhibou. It's a first in the history of football. It was unimaginable a few years ago. As you know, the hero of the day was Ismail Diakité, the striker of Tétouan. With this qualification, the Mauritanian national team will forever turn the dark pages of Mauritanian football history.
That was Moulaye Najim speaking on Mauritania's first ever AFCON final qualification. So far, 13 teams have qualified for next year's competition, including Uganda, Mauritania, Guinea, Egypt, Tunisia, just to name a few of them. The last qualifying games will come up in March 2019. 11 other nations will complete the 24 list. We move over to Brazzaville, where neighbors Republic of Congo and the DR Congo faced off in a crucial Group G match. Let's get the details with Ignatius Ano and William Bayiha.
Intense suspense in Group G of the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. Sunday's clash between the Leopards of DRC and the Red Devils of Congo in Brazzaville was inundated with the heavy rain. In the 38th minute, Brazzaville striker Thierry Bifuma with a header managed to keep the Leopards' defense alert by scoring an equalizer.
When you look at the two circumstances of the game, each time you have more opportunities than your opponents. We suffered today from offensive inefficiency, but the game itself was rather interesting. Even when they pressed at the last opportunity during the last minute, they had nothing.
At the start of the game, DR Congo did not seem ready to secure a spot to Cameroon. Before the rain set in, the Leopards had managed to net a goal thanks to Kasongo Kabongo, but the opponents held out at home despite their early goal.
La RDC a très bien démarré le match, pouvait même tuer le match.
The DRC started the game very early and could even kill the game. They didn't do it. It is not our fault. After the second half, we didn't have a little problem to fix in the middle of the field. We were good in the game, and when we look at the game, we rather got more goal opportunities than the DRC.
In the last 10 minutes of the first half, the game was suspended for close to an hour as the Massamba Deba Stadium pitch was not conducive. At the final whistle, it was a draw for the Leopards and the Red Devils. Each of these teams will now face Liberia and Zimbabwe in March 2019 with their hope of participating in CAN 2019 in Cameroon.
A result that complicates things for both nations as Liberia beat group leader Zimbabwe by 1-0 at home to occupy the second spot on 7 points, ahead of the DRC with 6 points, and the Republic of Congo is still in with 5 points. In Group B, it was their first defeat in these qualifiers as host Cameroon lost by 0-2 in Morocco. Both coaches, Clarence Seedorf and Hervé Renard, reacted after that game.
Je pense qu'en Afrique, c'est de plus en plus difficile.
I think the game is getting tougher in Africa. When you see Madagascar qualifying for the Nations Cup, when you see Mauritania just a step to qualifying, and many other emerging countries animating the game, it makes it more competitive. And it's a good step for African football. Let's be satisfied with the victory. Let's be proud of the players. But most importantly for me is the fact that I was chosen to lead this Moroccan side.
I don't know, I have not been arguing with the referee because it was useless to argue with the referee. So I have not much to say about that. I think everybody has witnessed and right what you've seen. I mean, for us the match is finished. Morocco played a good game. Cameroon also played a good game, but then, you know, episodes can change games like it happened today.
And now for a complete result of match day 5, check out the table. The African Women Championship, the first set of games were played over the weekend with a huge setback for defending champions Nigeria. A brilliant strike by substitute Christina Thembi, 5 minutes from full-time, handed South Africa a dream start against the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Online from Accra, Ghana is Angu Leslie, a football match commentator who lived the moment. Hello, Leslie, and thanks for joining us. We go straight. When was the last time a team defeated Nigeria at the Women's Championship, and what do you think was the difference in yesterday's game?
Coincidentally, the last time a team beat Nigeria when Nigeria really wanted to win was on the 7th of November 2012, and guess which team that team was? It was the same South Africa in the semi-finals of the then championship for that edition, and Nigeria will go on again to lose in the third place playoff against Cameroon in that edition of the competition. Yesterday, it was very, very difficult for the Nigerian team, not for any other reason, but for the fact that they didn't have the kind of desire that the South African team had. First of all, South Africa in the first half, they were very disciplined. They organized themselves to, first of all, observe and see what Nigeria will come with, and after which they now started opening spaces in the Nigerian backline and trying to exploit spaces. And the goal they had against the run of play was a goal that, to an extent, was very difficult for a striker, even in the men's game, to score. But, I mean, that player, the player didn't need a second chance. He had the opportunity to kill Nigeria. And I think that Nigeria will really keep memories of everything that happened yesterday, because it becomes more difficult now, really more difficult, because Christina Clark-Hanna have given South Africa a wonderful opportunity to go out of the group stages of this competition, and why not make their mark in this edition of the competition. Thanks, Angu Leslie. It was a pleasure. Yeah, it's my pleasure. Like we mentioned, Ghana animates the FIFA Under-17 World Cup in Uruguay, while Cameroon and South Africa are still finding their feet in the competition. For some of the results, take a look at the tables. And now on to this exceptional Ivorian story. Former Ivory Coast footballer turned mayor of Vavoa, Bonaventure Carlo, was in Paris. We talked to him. Here are some extracts.
D'abord, qu'est-ce que ça vous fait de revenir?
How does it feel to return to the Parc des Princes, where you excelled in the 2000s?
A lot of emotion since I left here. It's the first time I've come back. So there are a lot of images scrolling through my head. Goals that I could score here. Unforgettable moments that I lived here. So here it is.
Do you envisage any partnership projects with Paris Saint-Germain for the club in your city back in Ivory Coast?
And why not? Of course. Yes, to talk about it and then see if there's any interest at the club level here. But I was invited to watch the PSG Lille match. It's already a very good thing that the club remembers what I can do. But as far as talking about football or the relationship between the club and my city, yes, that's something we'll see.
Thanks to Karim Balde and Alexis Martin for the interview there from Paris. And with that, we conclude today's show. Visit our website on www.africanews.com. For your comments and suggestions, kindly reach us on the address on your screen. Have an excellent week. Goodbye.